But we got a great guest for you today. Raise the Mic is all about spotlighting the achievements of industry professionals. And we got a great industry professional right here, someone who's recently joined our contributors list, someone that's going to be active in hanging out with us at the GIE and throughout some of the other shows, and it does a lot of tips, by the way. I got Wayne Voles from Profits Unlimited. Wayne Voles, how you doing, bud?
Fine, Darren. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. It was hard to pin you down, but we did it.
Well, I appreciate your patience on that, and certainly I'll be happy to help any way I can.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Where are you right now? I know you go away for the weekends. Where do you go?
It's a little bit about free time. I spend some time in Central Kentucky, and I like to do the lake thing during the weekends. And unfortunately, our service isn't the best down there, and that's what's kind of restricted this Raise the Mic interview. So I thought we'd pull it off today and get it done, and see if we got some good knowledge that we can share with everybody today.
Absolutely. Wayne Voles. Now, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
One thing I was going to say, Darren, we got a train that's not too far from us. So if we hear a train in the background, I just want to let everybody know, hey, it's the money train coming.
I like that. I like that. It reminds me. It's kind of cool that you don't have signal. It's like nature's way of saying, you know what? This is relaxed time. This is the time. This is your free time. You don't want to be working. This is the time right here, and that's the train sound. We have them too in Florida, but that for some reason that always brings me back to being out in the country. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. That's the South too. My guys, Michael Bright from North Carolina will make fun of me and say, Darren, you ain't really from the South, but I am from the South. Yeah, because of my accent. My accent went away a long time ago, but I don't know.
So, hey, we're okay to say y'all then, right?
That's absolutely. It's been a while. I remember when I first moved to New Jersey from Alabama, and I was saying that they're looking at me with two cross-eyed. What does that mean?
Yeah, I know a lot of times when I travel, and I'll tell guys before I start my presentations that if I say y'all or all y'all, that's just plural for a whole bunch of people,
Oh, y'all.
Because you say y'all when you get north of Indianapolis, and they kind of look at you like, huh? So,
I think they're catching on now. For a long time, I'd ask for grits, and they'd be like, "What the hell?" And now you're finding grits everywhere now, so they're catching on. I'm sure, right?
That's right. And if we just get them to start doing sweet tea a little bit further north, we'd be all right too.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right. Hey, by the way, Adam Linneman, just got to do a shout out to him about sweet tea. That's what he does. He'll buy a big thing of sweet tea at one of his favorite little delis. He'll have it for days. He loves that stuff. Yeah, that's so good. So but he's in Illinois, so he's not too far from you.
He's not too far from us.
That's why. It's kind of trickling. But you own a company. You've owned a landscaping company all your life, or for a long, long time anyway, right? But is that right?
That's right. 40 years this year.
Yeah, it's funny because I look back and I say, okay, I was 11 when I started. So how could that possibly be 40 years? And then I think, oh, wait, I am 54. So, that's pretty sick. I mean, isn't that crazy that we've been in business for that long?
Yeah, it's amazing when you look back on it, and people look at me and they say, you're not that old, because I'm 56.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't know that I ever planned on doing this for 40 years for sure, but that's where we're at. So that's where we're at with it. And like a lot of guys get started like that.
Well,
for sure.
I think that's great, and that's what and it brings me to you've had your own landscaping company for a long time, and now you want to help others be better in business, and you've created this company called Profits Unlimited. Tell me a little bit about that. I love that name. I mean, it rings true, right?
That's right. We started Profits Unlimited in 1990 to help commercial landscapers across the country and Canada with the same trials and tribulations basically that we had trying to run in our business at first, because we were really good at working hard. We just weren't really good at working smart from the business side of that business. And when we were trying to put a name on it, it's like anything you try to name, you sit back and you kick it around for a while, right?
Yeah.
And so, what we didn't want to do was we didn't want to just have it Wayne's Consulting, or just didn't want to use that format with it. So We kicked it around and we came up with the name Profits Unlimited, just because one thing's for sure, all companies, regardless of the industry, are concerned about profitability.
Yeah.
And our goal was to help companies become more profitable, increasing their business knowledge, basically.
Well,
so that's how we came up with the name.
Well, that's how everybody should come up with a name. You don't want to be, I mean, when I started my business, I didn't want to be Darren's Lawn Care. I mean, big deal. You have to think. You have to think down the line. Who do you want to touch in the long run? Are you just localizing yourself? I think that has a lot to do with it. When you did that, you just opened up a huge door, all the doors, all the windows. When you did that, right?
Right. And with the help of my dad, and we'll talk a little bit about him later, probably, because a lot of things jog my memory on him, like this has. But the scope was, I didn't see the vision per se of Profits Unlimited in 1990 at that point. And, he did. And the vision was, just to help people in general with their businesses. Yeah. And that's where the word profits came into play with it for sure. So, but our main goal is to help commercial landscapers, certainly with the business side of their business, because we're all really good at mowing lawns and trimming bushes and putting bushes in the ground and things like that. But where we were very weak, quite honestly, and I'd be happy to share that story, was with the business side of our business. And once we connected the dots between the business side of the business and not mind doing the work side of the business is when we became more profitable, and that's what provided basically the impetus for us to bring along Profits Unlimited.
Well, let me tell you something. You say that you guys are pretty good at the cutting and the lawn and all that stuff. You'll speak for yourself about that because a lot of people still aren't. And the reason why, I think, is because they start to get it. They realize it is a business, and that affects their service. It affects the type of services that they're performing when they don't know too much about business, because you start getting wrapped up in all this stuff, and it ruins you. A lot of people come and a lot of people go, right? And that's what happens.
Yeah, that's right. And what I've seen in my 40 years in the industry for sure, and certainly even way before I hit 40-year time frame, was, most companies are smaller companies, and we wear quite a few hats. Matter of fact, we wear all the hats most of the time as a small company. We're the production guy, we're the marketing guy, we're the sales guy, we're the collections guy, but we don't mind doing the work. But it's the invoicing and the contracts and the proposals and the follow-ups, and it's things like that we tend to be weak in. And unfortunately, when we're weak in that side of our business, that's normally where our profit dollars are coming from.
Yep.
Being more professional. So that was when we figured that out. And I share a quick story. It took us 9 years, Darren, to figure that out, quite honestly.
I'm still figuring that out.
It took us 9 years to figure out we didn't need more work, man. We needed to have a better business methodology in place. We need to have a better business plan in place, and how we were doing things based on our company and not necessarily what our competition was doing within our market. So that's what brought Profits Unlimited around.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of guys that are listening, they feel the same way. They feel your pain. They feel that, and they're wondering, how do I get to that satisfaction level? How do I get to the part where, okay, I'm good now? And when is it the time to really make that decision that you are in a rut, or you're digging yourself in a hole? Where do you find yourself? Where do you see that?
Yeah. Well, what I saw with Wayne's Lawn Service, like I said, it took us about 6 years to figure out we weren't doing things right, and then another few years to straighten them out. And what I've seen in talking to commercial contractors across the country and in Canada, the seminars that I do at dealer locations, is that it's normally the contractor that's been in business for maybe 4 or 5 years before they start to see and realize that, okay, the way we're doing it's not working. Yeah. Because initially we have a lot of tunnel vision, quite honestly. I did. With Moan, and I'll throw myself under that bus first. That's one thing I'll never do is criticize a competitor. I'll put myself under the bus first, because I made every mistake you can make, and smart enough now to know that I still make mistakes. But now I try to figure out how to fix them, and not just continually doing the same thing over and over again. But my history shows me with myself, my own company, and contractors that I've worked with and work with, is that it normally takes 4, 5, 6 years before you finally realize that doing more of the same thing is not going to get the job done. We've got to change the internal components of our business, the bidding, the marketing, the selling, the proposals, the contracts, things from the business side of our business to help us make us more successful and profitable.
It's that insanity thing, that
Yeah.
you keep doing the same thing without the, with the same result. You're obviously you become insane. So you got to stop.
Yeah, that's right. Our old Albert Einstein saying, right?
Right.
That's right. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You're only going to jump in front of a truck so many times.
See, I'm glad you were able to recite that. Say, I get screwed up, but I get the gist of it. That's right. That's so true.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry.
The important thing is you remember it, right?
I know, that's right.
Remember the message involved.
As long as I understand that feeling, I'm good to go, man. I got it. So anyway, when we come back, I want to learn more about you, my friend. I want to learn about your background, how you got into the business, because that's what's the most important thing, because that kind of inspires all of our listeners. We got that. That much more. Turf Time right now is 9:20 or 9:12. Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans, do you know what time it is? That's right, it's time for Turfs Up Radio. Now you can catch us streaming live 24/7 with pro talk, pro tips, and pro interviews. Simply visit turfsupradio.com.
Scott with More Madness here. Aches and pains aren't trophies. They're just barriers keeping pros like you from getting the work done. You know better than anyone that this business can be backbreaking, but that's all the more reason to partner with someone who has your back. Ferris is about helping you finish strong and feel good doing it. Ferris commercial grade mowers feature patented suspension technology that allows you to mow faster and get more done while keeping you comfortable so you can feel good tomorrow. Ferris, work hard, feel good. Go to ferrismowers.com for a dealer near you.
Welcome back to Raise the Mic. I'm your host, Darren Gruner, and I am live in the Turfs Up Radio studios in always sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I got Wayne Voles from Profits Unlimited. What's the name of your landscaping company again, Wayne?
The landscaping company is, there's a story in itself, too.
Of course.
Currently, it's WLS. For 30 years, we were Wayne's Lawn Service.
Right.
And that was a mistake. Earlier we talked about how'd you come up with the name for your business. Well,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean I didn't mean to insult you.
No, you're good, because it's a great story. It's a great story, Darren. 1979, I was happy to put my name out there. Hey, it's Wayne's Lawn Service, right? Well, I didn't have the vision of Wayne's Lawn Service actually turning into anything. But as our company grew and we continued growing, it was the biggest mistake we made was putting my name on it, because now everybody that calls wants to talk to Wayne. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to talk to Wayne if it's legitimate calls, but it's so many of the calls that we don't like, right? That we get where they just pick the name off of it. So about 10 years ago, we actually rebranded our company to WLS.
Yeah, I like that.
We kept it consistent. Our colors stayed the same. But also the reason we changed it to WLS, we were finding through some marketing research that we had done that when we had Wayne's Lawn Service on our trucks and on everything, and that was our name, people were thinking of just a mowing contractor. And we had diversified into much more than that, but they didn't see it in that light per se. So that's when my son Kyle actually came up with that idea that changed our logo and so you talk about a challenge. Rebranding after 28, 30 years in business took a little bit of time and money, but we think we've successfully got over the hump now with it and moved along with WLS.
Hey man, sometimes you're lucky that it worked, because sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes you had something pretty good, and even a niche is good too. Remember, but
right.
You're right. I think Wayne. I think you made the right decision. I could tell you a story about a friend of mine that has a cleaning company. It was amazing. He did so well with it, and then he decided he liked a different name. He acted on his emotions. He changed it, and he dropped significantly in business. And it was absolute shame. So you did good. That's awesome. But
that is a challenge for sure. You hate that. I mean, then you worry about that for sure.
Yeah, but a lot of it's true though. Listen, when you put your name on your business, even though it sounds great, and you want to see your name in lights and everything, it can backfire on you, buddy. I'm telling you right now, because guess what? You're right. Everybody wants to talk to you, and when you grow, and you can't have that conversation. Now you have somebody else handling the calls, but they want to talk to the owner. I want to talk to them.
That's right.
Talk to one. So you kind of screw yourself up. So we always talk about what's in a name, but we like your name. We like your name now, and we like Profits Unlimited. I definitely want to find out more about you and your background, not about who you're talking to and all that stuff. I want to know 40 years ago what clicked in your head and said, "Damn, I want to be in the green industry business."
Well, let me say this. I can honestly say. I never wanted to be in the green industry business back then. What happened was I was 16 years old and I wanted a 10-speed bicycle. You remember those, right?
Oh boy. Yeah.
And that was the thing. So I approached my dad and I said, "Hey, Dad, I'd like to have a 10-speed bicycle." And he said, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, my friends have one. I'd like to have one." And for the younger guys that are listening, they may not even know what a 10-speed bicycle is, Darren. I'm showing my age a little bit. But he says, "Well, I'm not going to buy you a bicycle." And I'm thinking, cool, man, I'm 16. He's going to buy me a car.
Yeah, right.
Right, He says, "What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy you a lawnmower and a weed eater and let you mow some yards, and you can buy your own bicycle." Because So if you earn he said, if you earn the money to buy that bicycle, you'll take care of that bicycle.
Oh, geez.
So that wasn't the answer that I wanted, but that's the answer that I got.
Hey, he bought you a career, buddy. He bought you a career.
But he did, and so he even hooked me up with 8 of his best friends where I could mow their yards for $12 a week at the time.
Oh, geez.
But you know what, Darren? It wasn't the worst thing in the world.
No, not at all.
I was going out and mowing 8 to 10, 12 yards at 16 years old. And the good part about it, I could get those done in a day and a half, because I've done it with a 22-inch push mower. And he bought me an electric weed eater. It wasn't even a gas weed eater. So I had an electric weed eater and 200 feet of cord I drug around with me. I had to plug into your electric.
That's so funny.
But anyway, that's how the business got started. And from that, after I did that through high school, went to college, graduated college with a business degree. And as I was graduated college, I went to work with proprietary schools here in Kentucky, had 5 schools, and I was assistant financial aid director there. And I did that for 4 years as I was trying to build my lawn and landscaping business along the way.
I'm so sorry. You're definitely not qualified to be a business consultant for the industry. I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. Oh my God, that's fantastic. I didn't even know this about you. I mean, seriously, business, finance. I mean, you got it all, right? I mean, tell me you got a little bit of law in you too.
Well, no, I just think I do. I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night, right?
I love it.
I'm an attorney, but anyway, I was trying to grow that business, as I was working in the financial aid office, and it's kind of funny, Darren. Quick story here. I was, I had the suit and the tie, administrative assistant in the office with a window, and I'm thinking, I'm coming out, I'm busting my tail in here, but I'm making more money when I get off work than I'm making here in this quote unquote professional job.
Yeah.
And so I went home one day and I asked my wife, I said, "Jane, I think I'm going to resign from my job." And after she got up off the floor, she says, "What are you going to do? You going to cut grass?" I said, "Yeah, that's the plan." So after that sank in, she said, "Okay, that's fine. You've got your education. I've got my education. Let's do it." At that point in time, we had one son. Our first son was just born, and she said, "If it works out, great. If it don't, you're still young enough to get back in it. Back in the corporate America world." So, with her backing and some help from my dad and his backing, that's what I guess, 87 it was.
Wow.
I went into this industry full time.
Wow.
And quite honestly, that's when I saw that I didn't have things set up right. At that time, we'd had 45 to 50 accounts we were working, and saw that, hey, I wasn't making what I thought I was making.
Well, we're gonna find out more about that in a second, because I want to get into that maintaining efficiency. A lot of our listeners that hear the Raise the Mic, they get an idea of how each individual maintains the efficiency, and that's a big part of that. And I want to make sure that we cover that. I love your story. I could talk. Listen, it's so funny how similar we all have stories like this, and it's great. It's good inspiration. But I do want to tell you that I believe that if you have the balls to start your own business, you're gonna make it work. It's gonna happen. I mean, there's no room for failure, because it's all rise on you. You're not going to sit back in your house and wait for calls to come. You're going to go get it. So you had no choice but to make it work, and that's why it was successful. So I love that. Listen, we're going to come right back. I got Wayne Voles from Profits Unlimited. He's a guy just like you. And if you want to be successful, this is the guy that you might want to talk to too. So we're going to find out how to get a hold of Wayne in just a little bit. When we come back, we got maintaining efficiency and much, much more. Turf time right now is 9:22.
Hi, Scott from More Madness. Ferris allows you to experience turf care on a whole new level with Soft Ride stand-on mowers. With their patent-pending adjustable operator platform and suspension technology, these premium stand-on mowers from Ferris let you work faster, take on more jobs, and finish the day feeling good. Step up to a new level of comfort and productivity with the SRS Stand-On Series mower. Ferris, work hard, feel good. Go to ferrismowers.com for a dealer near you.
You're listening to an exclusive presentation of Raise the Mic. Be sure to stay tuned to hear more from this week's featured guest only on Turf's Up Radio, the only radio platform of its kind dedicated to covering the green industry and spotlighting the achievements of green industry professionals like you. Welcome back. Welcome back to Raise the Mic. I'm your host, Darren Gruner. Live in the Turf's Up Radio studios in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I don't know where I am, Wayne. I'm sorry. I'm glad you know where you are.
It happens to us sometimes, Darren. That's all right. We won't talk about the age factor. That might have a little bit to do with that.
That's right. You and I we're the same age. It's okay.
Yeah.
Listen, we can laugh at all these young guys, but we're going to try to help them. That's what we're here for, right? We're here to help them.
That's right.
Listen, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at, right? So,
right.
We jumped into. I love your stories. We can learn so much more. By the way, I want our listeners to know that you're going to learn a lot about Wayne, because he is a contributor for Turf's Up Radio, and you're going to hear more about him. Connect with him. Pick his brain, because he wants you to. We're going to find out how to get a hold of him a little bit later on in the show. But maintaining efficiency is what we started to touch on. How do you do that in your business? How can you focus in on maintaining efficiency? Because a lot of us all the time kind of just fall off the tracks a little bit. We get stuck in situations. How do you do that? How do you maintain it?
Well, I think what happened with us, quite honestly, when it came to efficiencies, and I mean, this is something we could make a 4-hour talk out of for sure, Darren. But in a nutshell, we got a little bit complacent, quite honestly, and I think that happens to companies sometimes. How can we do things different and better? But we all resist change. So even though we know we're not doing something as efficient as we could, I think, it's kind of like the guy that walks up to the stop sign and he can go straight, right, or left. Well, human nature normally tells us to keep doing things the same way we've done it, right? And a lot of times we don't want to take a right or left-hand turn and make that change. But for us in our company, to help us with additional efficiencies and things, for me, it went back to empowering our employees and giving them the ability to make decisions. And, whether you have one employee or 10 or 100 or it's just you've got to be willing to make changes as you're going along and not worry about the fear of change.
I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something. I love that, and I do that all the time, especially with Turf Talk Radio. Empower your employees. A lot of business owners don't realize that they can do that. They think that they got to take all the challenge, they got to burden all that stuff on their own shoulders. And it really, and these guys, right? And Wayne, these guys are willing to hear. They want to hear a demand from you. They want to hear delegation. That's part of it, right?
That's exactly right. And, something I had a little bit of a problem with learning myself, getting through the learning curve. I kind of joke and tell guys when I'm talking that, I had a business degree that said I could run your business, but I couldn't run my own efficiently. And it has nothing to do with the Kentucky education, before anybody says that, okay? But the reality of it is, what I caught myself doing, Darren, was delegating the work, but I did not also give them the authority to complete the task, if that makes sense. In other words, let's say you're putting a person that's going to run a crew for you. Well, if you're going to let somebody run a crew for you and they're out mowing their lawns or spraying lawns, whatever they're doing, landscaping, you can't just give that person the responsibility of going out and running that route, but not give them the authority to make decisions while they're doing that. When a person has to call in on every individual question that they have, you've really not done anything other than putting a big, heavy load on their shoulders. But it's like you're saying I trust you, but you're not really trusting. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I can tell you firsthand, I was just with Adam Linneman. I know you know him, and he's got a great landscaping company up there. He drives around with me, and he hears nothing from nobody. I should say he hears nothing from anybody because he's got that level of trust. And there's a lot of guys out there, but there's a lot of guys that don't. If you're wondering why, Wayne, you'll agree with me. If you're wondering why your foremen are calling you all the time, it's because of you. It's
you. That's exactly right. You haven't given them the authority to make the decision out in the field. And, it comes back to let them make a decision. Because, me as a business owner, when I was out in the field myself, I made some decisions and they weren't the right decision after I thought about it, but the decision was made and we moved along. And we do that same thing with our foremen and our managers or anybody that's under me that, hey, just make a decision. If it's not the best one for the company, we'll talk about it later, but I'm not going to scream at you for making that decision. We're going to say, hey, here's what we should do next time.
Hey,
and I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, that's important. That's important. Certainly, obviously, if you have to correct everything he does, 10, 15 times, then it's time to say, okay, well, maybe
you might have the wrong person, and I know with me, I try to surround myself with people smarter than I am.
Yeah.
Once I finally realized that I needed to remove my ego, and I think that's a lot of problem with business owners. Their egos get in the way.
Hey.
If you move your ego out of the way and you give somebody else that responsibility and the authority to make that, you surround yourself with smarter people, hey, then you know what? When you're riding around, like you said with Adam, your radio's not blowing up, your phone's not blowing up.
Right.
These guys are out there and these ladies are out there doing the job because you've given them the confidence that they can do the job. And that's something that they don't forget. And then they want to do a better job. I know with us, it took me a long time to understand that, but we've currently built a staff up now where our average tenure is 17.2 years.
Wow.
So people talk about nobody wants to work and you can't find the right people. The right people are out there, but you just got to find them. You've got to train them. You've got to put the time and effort into it, whether you need one person or you need 100 of them. The people are out there. It's just finding them and giving them the training that they need to do the job successfully. And let them make mistakes and don't criticize those mistakes. Just tell them how to do it different the next time.
Right. Well, Wayne, I got to tell you something. I'm not smarter than you. Does that mean that this is our last conversation? I hope not, because I need to put smarter people around me too. So you better stick around. It makes your life easier, right? If you just move that ego out of your way. And I've already learned something from you already, Darren, today. It's the sunny part of Florida where you're at, right?
right around the bend.
Okay.
So I've already learned from you today.
I'll take that, whatever that means. It's fine. I'll try to make that work.
I'll explain that to you later.
Okay, that's really cool. Listen, we got Wayne Bowles. It's really great. Listen, when we come back, we got a standout project that he's done, and he wants to share it with us. It's not. It's right, just right around the corner. Give us just about a minute. Just give us about 30 seconds. Thanks a lot.
October's just around the corner, and that means it's time to head to Louisville, Kentucky for the largest landscape, outdoor living, and equipment industry show in America. See over 1,000 exhibits, get up to speed on hot industry topics, and test out the latest equipment on over 20 acres outdoors. Plus, you can kick back and network at free concerts every night. And this year, there's free parking at the Kentucky Exposition Center. Free parking! Don't wait. Register for GIE Plus Expo October 16th through 18th at GIE-Expo.com. See you there.
Welcome back to Turfside Radio's Raise the Mic. GIE Plus Expo, that's exciting. We're going to have a great time with that. By the way, don't forget, HNA also is going to be there. They're part of that. They're partners. If you're an HNA person, a hardscape professional, go to their website as well, and you can register there too. Wayne Bowles, Profits Unlimited. How you doing, buddy? This is great.
Great, man.
You're doing a great job, by the way. And we got the firing round coming up. I know you're shaking in your boots, but it's it's okay. You're going to be fine. And listen, you're from Texas.
That's okay.
You're from Texas.
I can handle it.
Yeah, you can handle that. But real quick, I want to give us an idea of a standout project that's been significant in your career. I mean, you've been around for a long time. You got to have a couple.
Well, we've had a few accomplishments that we've done over the years, and certainly, and I guess the first one came around probably in 2008 when we were rated as through Landscape Management Magazine as a top 10 quality small business in the country. They did a nice article on us on that. We also got best of what we call Kentuckiana. It's within our own state. Right here in this Kentucky, Indiana area, we were voted best of Kentuckiana. And I think, probably one of the biggest accomplishments, Darren, quite honestly, that I look back on that we've made is our ability to run a profitable business the last 30 years. And I attribute that back to the employees that we've been lucky enough to surround ourselves with. It's easy to sit back and say, hey, we had this accolade and we were voted top 5 in this. And I'm just not the guy that likes to pat himself on the back.
No, I like that, Wayne. I like that. It's like the rabbit, and, it's like the tortoise and the hare, right? You have maintained a steady, even flow for a long time. It's definitely worth looking up to. Whereas there might be a guy that went out and did this really big project and then he just imploded. Adam Linneman talks about, there's people. These magazines talk about how the largest companies in the country and these largest or the largest revenue companies in the country they might look like they're doing a lot of revenue, but what's their overhead? I mean, how are they running that business?
That's right.
Right? So it's true. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
I would much rather a guy tell me, hey, I'm a one-truck operation, and I did $100,000 last year, and I kept 25 of it and in true profit dollars. That's a successful company. Because the story I always tell guys, back in 1987 with Lane's Lawn Service, we did right at $300,000 in gross dollars, but we were spending $310.
Yeah.
So
you're doing
volume,
great.
the volume didn't matter, right? Hey, who cares if you're doing $1 million if you're spending 1.2 to do it?
Yeah, because that's happening. Yeah, that's right.
Right. Let's figure out how we can do it better and different. And that's one thing with our lawn service too, as far as big accomplishments or big projects. Back in 2008, when the economy crashed, we all remember that.
Yep.
A little bit.
Yep.
And they're talking about we might ease our way into another recession. I'd just like to tell everybody out there, don't panic. Mm-mm. The good companies survived in 2008. The good companies are survived the next one. You just have to have a plan in place, goals in place, for these things that, everything about our economy is cyclical, right? I mean, history, you look at it, it's cyclical. It's going to happen again. but what are you doing to prepare yourself for it the next time around?
Yeah.
And I think that I kind of got off on a tangent from where we were talking about accomplishments and all, but like I said, I don't like to pat myself on the back a whole lot with that. I can say this, we've worked with some of the larger companies in the country that have done some pretty good things. So without throwing those names out there as well. So
you don't have to, but I do want to talk. I do want to save your planning ahead for our segment or planning ahead segment because I have some questions for that. So we're going to just jump right into that. I do have to take a real quick break, but when we come back, we're going to hear from Wayne about planning ahead. What is he planning? Where are we going in the green industry? Where does he think the green industry is moving, and how is he going to take part of that? We got that and much, much more. Turn time right now is 9:36.
You're listening to an exclusive presentation of Raise the Mic. Be sure to stay tuned to hear more from this week's featured guest only on Turfs Up Radio, the only radio platform of its kind dedicated to covering the green industry and spotlighting the achievements of green industry professionals like you.
Julie with Mower Madness. RedMax is rapidly becoming the brand of choice for professional cutters. Industry-leading commercial warranties of up to 5 years on commercial ZTRs, 2 years on all commercial handheld products, and 1 year on commercial chainsaws, combined with an unmatched opportunity to participate in fleet buys on powerful and dependable RedMax products, is propelling RedMax to the top. Get on board today. Visit redmax.com to learn how our Stratocharge engine delivers more power with less weight than any other two-cycle engine. That's redmax.com.
Welcome back to Raise the Mic. I got Wayne Voles here, guys. Wayne Voles, Profits Unlimited. Hey, buddy. All right, so listen, we did talk about this. I want to talk about planning ahead with you. Like, what do you got planned? What kind of goals do you have set for your company in the next year or two, or 3 or 4?
Well, yeah, 3 or 4. And, when we sit down and we make goals, I think that's something that a lot of companies sometimes fall a little bit short on. They don't have goals set. I know a lot of times in talking with companies, I'll ask them, I say, what are your goals? And, well, what do you mean? Well, where do you want your company to be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Knowing that the further out we project those goals, we're probably going to have to redefine them and check on them and work on them and whatnot. But we need to have goals in place for our company. And I think that's something that, as an industry, for sure, we're fairly weak on that. But, guys, well, I just hope I'm in business next year. And I get that. I used to say that same thing. I just want to be in business next year. But that's really not the right mindset. That if we're going to have a good business plan in place, we really need to know, what do we want to do? Do we want to increase do we want to do more landscaping? Do we want to get in snow and ice management? Do we want to get in fertilization weed control? And then once we decide what those goals may be, do we want to find better help? How can we find better help? You can put a plan to things when you know it is where you want to go. If I want to go down to Florida, I need a map, right? I need a map to get there. And that's what we need within our company, our goals. That becomes our steering wheel to get us where we want to go. So I think that's something.
I love that. I love that. I tell people laugh at me because I'm into Zodiac, and then I read The Secret because I really like to think about positiveness. And in The Secret, they tell you, envision your goals and they will happen. If you say they happen, if you feel like it's gonna work, if you feel it's happening, then it is. And they do use that metaphor of putting your hands on a steering wheel and feeling that steering wheel and looking forward. It's going to happen. When you open your eyes, you're going to be there, and that's awesome. Speaking about a map, people don't understand. Okay, well, I know. Okay, all right, Wayne, I can quickly answer that. I want to do more landscaping. That's not good enough. You need to actually outline it, right? You know what I do?
That's right. What's the plan to do more landscaping?
Write it down.
Are we going to start? Write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we going to get those customers? Well, I'll tell guys all the time and ladies all the time. Look at your existing customer base.
Yeah.
When you decide you want to diversify your services, because most people start out mowing, right? I mean, that's just the way the industry is. They start out mowing. You've got a group of customers there that, they already like you, they already trust you, and they're already spending money with you.
Yeah.
three things that are hard to accomplish,
Yeah.
and you've got a relationship with them. Now all we have to do is let them know that we're doing these other things. So, that's your first target, is the people that are already spending money with you, that like you. Now, instead of them going to your competitor to buy something, they're coming to you to buy it.
Yep.
And normally it's a more profitable service, right? Because mowing is very overhead driven. We all know that, and probably the least profitable thing we have to offer anybody. But it's the thing where a lot of us get hung up in a rut doing. We want more mowing, more mowing, more mowing. But to get back to your point, yeah, you need to figure out what it is you want to do, set the plan, and know that you're going to have to adjust that plan. And I think that's too and don't let your ego get in the way. We're constantly having to remove our egos as managers and owners, I think, and that's the hardest thing to do. But hey, if we got a 9-month goal and we're halfway toward that target goal and we're not seeing the results that we want, know that it's okay. And even though we thought we were going to accomplish the goal by doing A, B, and C, okay, A, B, and C is not getting us there. Let's come up with D, E, and F. Make sense?
Yep, that's right. And I love the fact that you write it down. When I'm looking for a new position in whatever I'm doing to have somebody help me, I write down what their position is and I envision it first so that I can relay that. It's good.
Yeah, there's no way you can remember everything.
No.
I mean, even we kind of joke about our age a little bit, Darren, you and I, and some of the other guys been in the industry a long time, but even a good, young, sharp mind and all the we got the technology now that you and I didn't have.
Yeah.
That makes it very easy now.
They're so
right?
lucky. They have no idea. They got so lucky.
I mean, gosh, we had a pager and we thought it was awesome, right?
Right.
I remember my first cell phone that I had in one of my trucks.
Yeah.
Daggone thing, you had it and it had a horn alert on it, so you could hit when your phone would ring. If you were putting mulch down, your horn would start honking.
That's right. Yeah. We got to stop talking. We got to stop.
Okay.
That's crazy. Listen, I know you're anticipating this next segment. I mean, you're doing so great. We got the firing round coming up. We're going to find out what really, really gets you going in this next segment. I can't wait. We got that and much, much more. Turf time right now is 9:42.
Coming up within 60 seconds, stay tuned for the Turfs Up Radio firing round.
October's just around the corner, and that means it's time to head to Louisville, Kentucky for the largest landscape, outdoor living, and equipment industry show in America. See over 1,000 exhibits, get up to speed on hot industry topics, and test out the latest equipment on over 20 acres outdoors. Plus, you can kick back and network at free concerts every night. And this year, there's free parking at the Kentucky Exposition Center. Free parking! Don't wait. Register for GIE Plus Expo October 16th through 18th at GIE-Expo.com. See you there.
Hey, Turfs Up Radio fans. Have you ever wanted to own your own show series or podcast? Well, now you can. Turfs Up Radio invites you to send us your podcast. We'll add a professionally produced open and close with promos to help promote your brand. To find out more about how to get your podcast series heard all across the country, simply go to turfsupradio.com/create your own show series or click on the tab on our website. Get started today. Your clients in the green industry are waiting.
Well, you know what that music means, don't you, partner? Yeah, that's right. You got lucky and made it to the firing round. Let me tell you how this all is going to go down so you don't mess up. I'm going to ask you some pretty simple questions, and you're going to give me some pretty clear answers, you hear? Take as much time as you need. But when you hear the bell I ring, you know that's time to wrap it up. We're going to move on to the next question. If you make it through all the questions I ask, and you survive this firing round, well, then you just might get some free stuff. So you ready, Pilgrim? Let's get started.
All right, Pilgrim. Oh, I love this. We got to get this going. You should have heard the way I wrote it from the beginning, the first one. Everybody was telling me, you can't say that on the radio.
The firing round. I'm almost a little nervous, but go ahead.
What do you do in your free time, bud?
Oh, man, I love to go to the lake without question. And that's something I wish more business owners would do, is to understand that they need to allocate free time. I didn't do it for too many years. I know we got a lot of questions to get through here, Darren, but my message today is to make sure you allocate free time for yourself and your family, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
You're just lucky. Personally, you're just lucky I don't have my bill, buddy. You're lucky I don't have my bill. I know you do. I know you want to go. That's really good. Who's your idol? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. My idol? My mom and dad, for sure.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Unfortunately, they both deceased, but they taught me so much just in growing up, Darren, quite honestly, from the time we were old enough to listen until they passed away. It was a learning process with them about business skills and things like that. Neither one of them were involved in the landscaping or lawn service with us, but they certainly had a lot of business knowledge. My dad was vice president of several different large companies and had a good working knowledge of business, and that's where they helped me.
When have you been most satisfied in life?
Probably right now. Each day is a gift from God, man. I mean, you look at what you've got and what you've accomplished, and those accomplishments and who's helped you with those accomplishments. And don't forget who helped you get there.
That's right.
My dad used to always say, don't forget who got you to the dance.
That's right.
And, but so each day is a great day, and it's up to every one of us. Daniel, my son, he always says, we all have 24 hours a day. How we utilize them is up to us. So we can utilize them doing smart things within our business and some free time occasionally. And it helps everybody that way.
Smart
kid. So take that free time.
Yeah,
for sure.
Kid. If you had to describe yourself as a superhero, which would it be? Which superhero?
Oh, Lord. How about Clark Kent?
Everybody goes to superhero.
And not that it's Superman. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I picked Clark Kent, because I ain't by no way a Superman. I don't have the ego for that. But
you're not a geek.
It's because with Clark Kent, he's got that false front, but he can be really strong too. So I think that's where I can be really strong within my business when I need to be. But when I have my free time, I can I can be a blade of grass out there and be okay, man. I'll just be the dumbest guy in the world, So that's why I like Clark Kent, because he's got that strong side and he's got that false side.
Nice. I know the answer to this next question, but I'm going to ask it again. Just say, and you could say it in one word. Who would you say has helped you the most to get to where you are in your career, or who would you like to thank?
I would, this is kind of like getting an Emmy Award. You say, no, I'm going to forget somebody, so I'm going to keep this close and easy. I'd like to thank my dad for everything he's done for me and what he trained me. He passed away at the age of 92, Darren, and we were role playing in cells literally in our office till he was 91.
Wow.
He never had enough of it. And I always joke and say, he's forgot more than I'll ever know.
That's right.
But I'd also like to thank my employees for sure, because they make this whole thing work.
You only get one. You only get one.
Yeah, okay. All right. My dad.
Yeah. Tell us about a time when when things didn't go the way you wanted. Maybe the efforts, your efforts fell on deaf ears and no one would listen to you.
Okay. I think that probably goes back to the beginning of my lawn service. Between 1979 and 1987, I was doing everything in the world I was doing wrong, other than making yards look good. I had no business mindset at that time. I was just cutting grass per se, and I say that and not degrading to being a mowing contractor at all. But I had myself $90,000 in debt as a 2-truck operation. Think I needed more work. Nobody would help me. And when I say nobody would help me, I'd exhausted all my credit lines and things like that, trying to survive. I had one local bank that stepped up to the plate, and they said, okay, we're going to help you, man, because we think you've got the knowledge to do this. Because at that time in 1987, what I decided to do was change the way we were bidding our jobs. We'd implemented a methodology to charge the right amount that worked. It was accurate, and they believed it. And I would like to thank our local bank for doing that for us. And I've been a customer of theirs ever since. Now everybody wants our business.
That's how you build. That's how you build relationships, for sure. How do you stay focused and motivated? And has that changed since over the years?
I don't think it's changed, Darren. I think, the way I personally stay focused and motivated is because I enjoy what I'm doing. I like what I do. And I think it's easy to stay motivated when you like what you're doing. If you don't like what you're doing, do something else. It's just that simple.
Well, how do you convince someone else that, what they're doing is going to make a difference and it's going to, be worth it?
Well, I think you got to look at it from a couple different perspectives. What I've found works a little bit sometimes is try to make that person feel important, let them know that their opinion does matter, but most importantly, try to find out if they have pride in what they're doing. Because if they have pride in what they're doing, then it is going to be important to them. And then you don't have to sell the importance to that person. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And I think, you just got to have pride in what you're doing. That's something, again, going back to my hero again, my dad, he told me, he said, Wayne, he said, his father steamed out whiskey barrels his entire life. It had no glory to it. The pay wasn't great. But he said he had pride in what he did. He did his job. He did it right, and he did it every day. And the message is, regardless of what you're doing, have pride in what you're doing, and you do good at it.
That's great. I like to ask my employees this. A year from now, we're celebrating what a great year it's been in this industry. What's been achieved?
Here's what I would like to see achieved just within our own business and within our industry for everybody is to be more professional, be more knowledgeable, and your company's more profitable. Because if we can accomplish those three goals, now we'll get back to goals a little bit again, but if we can accomplish those three goals and we've got a way to implement our professionalism and how we're going to implement and gain more knowledge, then the profitability will follow those two.
That's right. Speaking about profitability, you find a lottery ticket that ends up winning $10 million. What do you do with it?
First thing I'm going to do is probably donate some to the church because I feel like I should. I don't want to make that mistake. I think the second thing I'm going to do is buy a 6-seat golf cart. I'd like to have a 6-seat golf cart. I just would. And more importantly than that, I got those two joke. I think I'd probably move to my favorite place and where my end destination I think is going to be, and that's Siesta Key, Florida.
There you go. That's great. Well, you can come near me because that's what I want to buy next is that 6-seat golf cart. I want to drive it up and down the ocean.
That's right.
With Turfs Up Radio.
I want to be one of those free rides. Call me for a free ride.
Come on down, babe. Come on down. That's great. Well, you did a great job, man. Thank you so much. That was awesome.
I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit of my background and knowledge with our listeners, for sure.
No, well, that's good. But we do need to find out what's going on with you. And this is our event segment here. We got the big event coming up, the GIE. We have actually next weekend. I got Jeff Hesser and Andy Johnston, who are also contributors for Turfs Up Radio. They're coming down. We have the Miami Home Remodeling and Design Show. And we're going to be there, and that's going to be really good, getting the word out, Turfs Up Radio, word out. That's going to be a lot of fun. What do you do? How do you gain exposure?
We've worked with a lot of the equipment manufacturers, quite honestly, different ones, and they actually send me to their local market dealers. So whether you're in Detroit or Boise, Idaho, Sarasota, Florida, wherever it may be. And I do quite a few seminars like that at local dealers, just because I started doing that, Darren, just because I know a lot of guys can't make it to a GIE show.
Right.
A lot do, but a lot can't. And I thought if we can take that knowledge to a local dealer where the contractors are, then it helps build the relationship then with that local dealer as well. So I do those. I'm looking forward to working with Turfs Up Radio more this year. I think it's a great opportunity to share knowledge and for contractors to gain knowledge. And I'm looking forward to GIE show as well.
That's great. Yeah, we can't wait to have you down. That's great.
Yeah,
we talk about that a lot. these shows that people can't go to. That's what Turfs Up Radio is all about. That's why we're 24/7. We want you to do interviews when you go to these places. We want for you to say, okay, I'm going to go to this contract or whatever, and I'm going to do, wherever with everything you're going to do, and I want you to bring that to our live listeners.
Right.
So
happy to do it. I think it's a great form. It's a great format to make that happen.
Yeah, I think
for sure.
So. I think so, and I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm really happy. Thank you, Wayne. I am so glad that we were able to pin you down and get you on the air. Thanks for taking time.
I should be free for any other time, Darren. You need to pin me down moving forward because lake season's about over.
Oh my God! Listen, I got buddies of mine that still live in Alabama. Actually, he moved down to Tuscaloosa, poor guy, because he was an Auburn fan, and I was always been an Alabama fan. He lives a mile from the stadium now. It kills him, but it's okay. It's okay. But he goes down to Gainesville a lot. He has a lake house in Gainesville, so it's not too far. I guess it's not too far from him. But I get the idea, and they've had that cabin house for many years. So it's different for me. I'm a beach guy, but I understand there's no beach right there. You gotta find something that's close, right? Yeah, but
that's right. Find something that looks like it.
Do you have yourself a boat too? Do you have a little pontoon or anything?
Yeah. Got a tri-toon. We have a 24-foot tri-toon, and it took a little convincing as the kids were getting a little bit older that was the way to go. But now that you can get a decent-sized motor on a pontoon boat, then they're fun to ride on. I love it. I wouldn't go back to a speedboat for anything now.
That's really cool. So, Wayne, do us a favor. Tell our listeners how to get a hold of you if they want to, they want to improve their business. They want to talk to you about that.
Okay, be happy to do that. First of all, I'd like to just backtrack just for a second and say, hey, September 19th is my closest seminar we have scheduled, and that's Fort Wayne, Indiana, for any of our listeners that may be in that area. I'm sure Confeld Group up there would be happy to have you. But as far as getting a hold of me, you can reach me at 800-845-0499, or you can check us out on our website at Profits R Us. It's PROFITSAREUS. And check out our YouTube channel. We got a lot of good videos on YouTube, podcasts out there, so that'll help you out, and there's no charge for those.
Yeah, I think we have a link on our website, Turfs Up Radio, for you. If we don't, we're going to have one pretty soon. I think we put one up there. If not, we will make sure. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, they can very easily just go to the front page of Turfs Up Radio, go to the bottom. You see all the people that are involved with Turfs Up Radio right there. But Wayne, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate that. It was great talking to you. We're going to be talking a lot. I know it is. You and I are very much alike, boy. I think you and we're on the top here. We got all these contributors. They've been around for a while, but we've been around longer.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate the opportunity, Darren. Look forward to working with you.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging in there. I appreciate it. All right, talk to you soon. Hey, that's it, everybody. You know what time it is? Yep, that's right. It's time to say goodbye until next week. I want to thank everybody for listening to this week's Raise the Mic, only on Turfs Up Radio. For Wayne Bowles, for everybody here at Turfs Up Radio, I am your host, Darren Gruner, reminding you to stay green and to keep your hands dirty. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to this week's Turfs Up Radio Raise the Mic. If you're a pro in the green industry and would like to spotlight your achievements and share your experiences, log on to turfsupradio.com/join.